think everyone's got to address the issue of why is there evil in the world. And that's true for us as theists. It's also true for atheists. It's true for every person who holds any worldview. We all realize there's good and evil in the world, and we have to kind of figure out how this could be the case, given our foundational worldviews. And as Christians, we're stuck with this idea that there's an all-powerful God who appears to be, we would argue, is all-loving, based on what we see in Scripture. The problem, of course, is how do you reconcile? Is he either not powerful enough to stop the evil in the world, or not loving enough to care about the evil, or maybe he doesn't even exist at all? I think it's more plausible that we worship a good God that has allowed us certain freedoms. I look at the question this way. Which would be the better God? Which would be the God you would consider truly good? Would it be a God that would allow for love to exist in the world? Would it create a world in which love is possible? Or would it be a God who would create a world in which love is impossible? I think most of us would argue that the good God would be the God who would create a world in which love is possible. I mean, love is the highest virtue, not just for us as Christians. It's a high virtue for all my non-believing friends as well. I got lots of folks that I know in my life still who would argue there is no God, but would require us to be loving toward each other. So they seem to value love in a world in which there is no God. But ask this question of yourself. If there is a loving God, wouldn't he also want to create a world in which this kind of love is possible? Here's the problem with that. To create that kind of world, that's a very dangerous world. Because you've got to create a world in which free creatures have the ability to choose love freely. Because love cannot be compelled. So now you've got a situation in which love is possible only if I create creatures that have the ability to hate, to do things they should not do, to be unloving. You have to have the ability to choose between loving actions and unloving actions in order to call true love, true love. It's got to be something that's not compulsory. And so I think that the most reasonable explanation for evil in the world is a God who in his loving nature creates a world in which free creatures can truly choose to love one another, so that their love, their choice to love, actually has meaning. And that can only be the case if God creates a world in which, a dangerous world, a double-edged world, in which love is possible, but evil is also possible. And that's why we see evil, moral evil in the world, the free choices of free creatures, which have been given this freedom by a good God so that love, true love, could be possible in the first place.